Assignment number 9, part 1, the Ron Edmonds quote. We can, whenever and wherever we choose, successfully teach all children whose schooling is of interest to us. We already know more than we need to do that. Whether or not we do it must finally depend on how we feel about the fact that we haven't so far. That reminds me of my first year of teaching. My first year of teaching was my learning. It was a learning experience. It's something that I had to. It gave me the opportunity to grow from veteran teachers, master teachers, instructional specialists, administration. The quote that was given to us in PLC was, "Stay in your lane." If you teach 7th grade math, teach 7th grade math. If you teach 8th grade math, teach 8th grade math. Do not go above and beyond your subject. Do not go above and beyond your content or the lesson that is given to you in the scope and sequence, which was hard for me to even understand why one would say that. Now I do, but back then I was a new teacher, so okay, I was obedient. It proved to be one of the worst way of thinking ever for the students on that campus, because 2 years later that campus was non-existent. They didn't meet the requirements in order to be successful per tax standards. They didn't meet the goal, so 2 years later it was closed. So I wonder if that was one of the reasons, because everyone stayed in their lane. There was no cross-curricular instruction. Yeah, it was a me. It was stay in this lane. There's no benefit for you to go beyond your subject. So that really brought up something, and it made me think about how I've grown since then. I don't believe that I should keep to just mathematics. I should go beyond that. We should be sharing, collaborating, depending on the subject. There should be a straight collaboration from English to science, and science to social studies, and then on to math. We should be able to incorporate all the lessons and all of the concepts and skills and practices no matter what. Part 2 was looking at chapter 4 and 5. Chapter 4 was about the 6 facets of understanding. And the one facet that comes to mind was the application part. You will understand when you can apply application beyond just the simple subject matter, but can you apply it across or in your real world beyond the textbook or beyond this classroom discussion. Chapter 5, the part that it was all about essential questions, but the essential question I noticed, the one that sticks out to me was the application part. The questions which were geared for, can you apply these concepts which you have learned? The subject or the class that I enjoyed, the class that took me beyond the understanding of the content, was the 5349, the Education Media and Technology by Dr. Howell. Dr. Howell ensured that we applied everything that we learned by using those essential questions. How do you know that your student is learning? What's a new way that you can actually deliver this lesson using the technology, using the platforms which are available, free or paid or provided by the district, whichever one? How can you apply your knowledge and skills that you're learning in this course in order to facilitate a classroom? For me personally, I took it and I ran with it. I didn't just research Google Classroom, I used it. I used Google Classroom, I used Texas Gateway, I used other platforms. We used Zoom, we used Hangouts. My students really loved Hangouts. So I went above and beyond just a basic course. I'm learning about this, I'm going to apply it temporarily, and then it will never be reapplied. I actually took that and I delivered the rest of the semester, the rest of the spring semester, using Google Classroom. It was the best thing ever. The students downloaded Hangouts. They had discussions on Hangouts. They were also having discussions through Google Classroom. So my class began. It was a different type of discourse. It was verbal before. It was loud. It was conversations in that course. Then it became more of technology. They started using technology to ask questions with each other. They would ask me questions. They would find something and they would plug it in and say, look at this, and they'd use Desmos and download the images that they created from their equations. It was just the best thing ever for me to actually take that and apply my knowledge. And my thought was, if I don't use it, then I'm going to lose it. It's available. Why not? It's in the best interest of the kids. Eventually, I got other teachers to use Google Classroom. The students were exposed to it, but they were not using it. So before I knew it, the social studies teachers were also using Google Classroom. We began exchanging documents using Google Forms, exchanging tests, assessments, having the students log into Google. So when a student was complete with their social studies work, they were able to log in and to the mathematics and use that time to complete their mathematics assignment. It was just the best thing, the best experience. So that's when I took something that I have learned and I went above and beyond the objective of just experimenting. I really applied that that lesson for an entire semester, and it was very beneficial for not just myself. I didn't have to grade as many papers. It wasn't just beneficial for myself, but it was also beneficial for the students. It's beneficial for other teachers, and it just became a better campus during the most difficult time of the year, spring STAR testing, high stakes assessments. It was not as stressful as one would believe or one would figure for it to be. So I have really enjoyed being part of this Tarleton coursework of instructional specialist, instructional design, and technology, because it's actually teaching me different modes and different platforms to use to educate my students above and beyond pencil and paper.